Yeah.
On Man United, though, I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
I think I should premise the question as well, actually, because it is a difficult one to answer. There's a lot of talk from Man United fans that they want Mason Greenwood back.
Right.
A lot of that trended last night because he had a fantastic game against Atletico Madrid. I watched the highlights of it. I think we see Anthony on our right-hand side, who's awful. Jadon's been phased out and wasn't very good before that. And I did watch the footage last night of Greenwood, and he looks amazing. And you've got players from Atletico Madrid saying, wow, what a player. There's been links in the last few days to the Barcelonas, and some huge clubs in the world now want him. And I suppose this train of thought amongst Man United fans is, look what we've got. And two, if Barcelona or Real Madrid or Bayern Munich are going to have him, then why can't we? As in, some other giant club is going to benefit. He's still going to be the guy that did what he did, and people don't like him. But a giant rival is going to benefit from him, and we're not.
Yeah.
A lot of United fans want him back. What do you think? Do you think Man United should try? If a big club's going to give him a chance, should it be his parent club? Should it be Man United that try and rehabilitate him? Should it be Man United that try and make sure he stays on track? Or should they sell that responsibility onto somebody else?
How long, before I answer any of that, how long has he got left on his contract?
I want to say until 2025. I could be wrong. I'll have to go and check.
All right. I guess the answer is this. I don't know. These are really difficult discussions, right? Because always at the back of the mind with something like this, there is what he did, right? So there's always going to be a stigma attached to any answer that anyone gives. If I just try and play devil's advocate here, you've got a player that is being paid still by Manchester United, right? He's being paid by Man United, whether or not where he's on loan. Sorry, where's he on loan again? Why have I gone blank?
Gafite.
Oh, right, let's have that. Right, okay. Don't know why I went completely blank. Right, so they'll be covering some of his wages, and you'll be paying. All the while you're paying someone's wages, the question I would ask you is, if you don't want him to be in your team, why not pay it out? Do you know what I mean? And why not rip up his contract if he is not going to be considered eligible to play in a Man United shirt? Equally, if you're going to keep him and just have him out on loan and you're paying wages, why not have him back in the team? Now, we get to the moral standpoint of all of this of hey, look what he did. We can't be having that associated to our club. Then you'll say, well, hang on, other clubs are going to have that associated to their club. Is it okay for those clubs to have that because it's probably out of sight, out of mind, and it's not in England, and it's not at Manchester United where this all happened? It's a real, I say interesting one. It's a conundrum, right? I think that whatever Man United do, right? Whatever Man United do, they're going to get pelters from portions of the fan base. Because I can guarantee you now, if we had 10,000 Man United fans in a poll, right, and you said, should Greenwood be allowed to play for Man United again? I doubt that it would be 100% saying no. I'm guessing there would be a portion that say, he's our player, right? So you're going to piss them off, or you're going to piss off the ones that are like, hang on, no, what he's done is terrible. So this is not an easy situation, but you're paying him. You're paying him. Why can't you play him if anyone else can play him? That is a good argument. So I don't know. I don't know. I haven't got an answer, man.
But you know what's really I'm posing a question based on what I'm seeing people say online, and you get people basically saying, Terry, why are you making excuses for him? Why are you saying you should have him if other clubs have? I've not said that. I'm posing, learn to listen. I am repeating what I'm seeing other people say, as opposed to, I haven't given my opinion on this yet. So Inter Yanan says, this is what's funny with you, Terry. You want a reset with toxic players gone, but now you want them to stay. This isn't what I've said, is it? I have not said this in any single.
Terry, this is the problem with you.
It's the problem. This is the problem with 2023. People take a question as a statement. So, say for instance, Gary Neville today says Mo Salah's finished, and then I turn around to you and say, "Do you think Mo Salah's finished?" Me asking that question is not me agreeing with the statement. It's me asking a question. to garnish the show with opinions. Imagine not asking questions. It's crazy. Look, I agree with you. I think there are lots of things at play here. I think morally, I don't want him back at Man United still. I'm still very resolute on that. There is a part of me, the footballing part of me, that is, of course, sad for what happened, and it's horrible what his partner went through. It's part of me that's sad that this talent that I rated from a young kid who I thought was developing nicely isn't going to be, in my opinion, a Manchester United player. So I will openly admit that. But from a moral standpoint, I think it's right that we move him on.
Mm-hmm. Do you think?
Go on.
Sorry, just quick. I was going to say, do you think that all of this is an issue because Man United didn't make a hard and fast decision back at the time when all this happened? So, for example, had they turned around and gone, contract ripped up.
But I think we have made a hard and fast. I think we have made a hard and fast decision. I think the decision is the hard and fast decision was we're going to hold on to him as long as we can to see whether we can get him back in the team. That's the decision. Right. It just looks convoluted because it's essentially this. I don't even necessarily know if Barcelona. It's why I'm saying to Man United fans, don't get suckered in by showing your backside, saying, well, if Barca are going to have him, we might as well have him back. Because we don't know if Barca are really interested. This could be Man United again, leaking to the press that Barca want him. Because what it will make people do is they'll go, hang on, if a club the size of Barca is going to give him another chance, why shouldn't we? That is what is going to make certain people say. This is how they're trying to test the water as to whether or not they can bring him back. The point is this: that there's your own moral standing and feelings on this situation, and mine are resolute. I don't personally want him back. Do I understand people thinking and feeling those other things? I get their point of view. Doesn't mean I agree with it. And I know in 2023, understanding somebody's point of view, that means you agree with them. No, it doesn't. It just means I understand the point they're making. But for me, it's very much a case of, I think if he goes Barcelona or Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, it all gets forgotten about. It genuinely.
Yeah. Is it out of sight, out of mind, though? I.e., different country? Like,
no, I don't know what I mean. I don't know. I also believe if he joined another English club, there'd be some turmoil to begin with, and then it would go away. If he signs for Man United, if he signs for Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, then it will never disappear. Because I also do believe this. Some people are genuinely grounded in their morality of this guy shouldn't play football again, or shouldn't be in England, or shouldn't be at a big club, whatever it may be. There are also people, in my personal opinion, that only care about what he did because he's a Man United player. They only care about and we've seen this before, that there are fans of certain clubs who have got players that have done similar things, players who have done worse things. Depends on who you ask, whether it's better or worse. I'm not getting involved in that conversation. And I've seen them stand by that player and throw defense out for them. But yet when it comes to another club, they'll defend them. And so for me, I think there's such a mixture of opinions within this. It becomes a very hard conversation. But for me personally, I don't want Man United to bring him back. I don't think morally it's right. I don't think the club needs the attention. I don't think every game needs that attention. Every time, if he was to come back, every game we won where he played well, every game we win where he scores, any trophy we won where he was pivotal to us doing it, is just by the media and by rivals and by a lot of our own fan base, including me, is going to be tarnished by it. So for me, I'd say for me, when it comes to Man United fans, I say let it go. Personally, I say his contract actually runs out in 2024. We've got an extension option to extend it. I say extend it, sell him, raise a bit of money, and then move on. That is personally what I would do with this situation. But it just intrigued me how a little media story of Barcelona wanting him, some good performances whilst Alan needs rubbish, and suddenly there are lots of people throwing their morality out the window. Oh, bring him back. And for me, I think you've got to be a bit stronger than that.
Look, these types of things are always going to cause controversy because, look, we've had it before with, if you look, famous cases down the last sort of 10, 15 years, you've had it with Chet Evans, when with the case that he went through. I mean, he was eventually found cleared of all of that, but that ruined his career. And everyone was having these types of conversations. You had the incident with what's his name at Man City, who's suing them, isn't he?
Benjamin Mendy.
These situations. So it's really difficult. I think what makes it more difficult is that he's not being found guilty. Do you know what I mean? I think
there is that side of it. There is that side of it.
this is the.
But it's also that, and also the club in its statement said that new material, facts, and evidence came up that changed things. Well, my view is, tell us.
Yeah, it's
and maybe they won't. Maybe they never will. But from my point of view, I've heard what I've heard and seen what I've seen. I can only change my opinion. So, for instance, we've all seen this. This happens to celebrities before, where a celebrity is arrested, the media prints what they have done, and we all say guilty or innocent. Then the court case happens, you read the transcripts, you listen to the case, and maybe your mind changes. And we've all seen that. We've all seen that with a, whether it be Kevin Webster from Coronation Street, Johnny Depp, there's a guy from Marvel just now. All of those stories have been handled differently by the media, or the public have had a different. Look at the world. Look at the world when, and I get his name wrong all the time now. I just say it the way Dave Chappelle says it. Juicy Smollett. When he did the whole, I got attacked in the street in Chicago, it turned out to be a lie. The problem is sometimes these things we go, oh, that's terrible, and it's true, and it turns out it's a lie. Sometimes we go, oh, that person's a scumbag. Turns out they're innocent. But you only know that once you see the evidence, and it's hard to change your opinion on something.
Can I ask?
When you don't get the evidence.
Can I ask? Listen, maybe I'm not as up to date with this as first thought. Did it go to trial?
No. So he was charged.
Okay, so he was
never went to
charged.
trial. So they dropped it.
Right.
And essentially the official line was new material evidence came out. Certain witnesses didn't want to give evidence, and it fell apart. But also, him and his partner had got back together, and she was pregnant. So you're in this situation where I think they looked at the whole thing and thought, well, we're not going to get a conviction. However, it's so vague. It's not enough to change my mind personally. That's all.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, look, I suppose what hasn't made any of this better is the fact that he is back with his partner, right? Listen, I'm playing devil's advocate here because I think I don't ever give a hard and fast answer. On football, I will. Not on these types of situations. If you've got a situation where all of the world, we're all sitting there going, guilty, 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 you're the worst person in the world, you're this, you're that, you're the other, then he's back with the person that was in question about this. You've got two ways of looking at that. A, was it as bad as we thought? Or B, is she caught in a, you see it all before, don't you? You see domestic abuse where people are
caught in a trap, yeah. And the problem that you have, because you don't have any more information, for me, I'm not telling anyone else what to do, but for me, I had my stance. Nothing has come out that's maybe changed my mind. So therefore, I stick to my original thought. If, for instance, evidence came out that completely changes all of our perspectives, that's very different, but it hasn't. And as I was making that point earlier, I remember when, not people don't know who he is, but when the guy that plays Kevin Webster was arrested, everyone thought, he'd done these bad things to this girl. And then I remember reading the transcripts for a lot of the court. I was really interested in it back in and it turned out the guy was beyond innocent, to a point where the alleged victim's mother was on his side in court, right? So then you looked at it and you were like, wow, but I was intrigued because the media had ruined him. The way they spoke about him, he was guilty by media, and he ended up being really innocent. But my mind only changed because I read the transcripts. Ryan Giggs had his case recently, and I know a lot of people haven't read the transcripts around that, because I'll tell you why, Sav, I bet you haven't either. I'm not saying he hasn't done anything wrong, but some of the things that came out that she'd lied about in the past, like she lied she has cervical cancer so she could stop taking her pill, but then it all turned out it was just a way of trying to trap Ryan Giggs into getting her pregnant. It was all confirmed in court. These are from the court. So the point is, if somebody would lie about having cancer, could they lie that somebody hit them? Maybe. So again, your perspective starts to change around, is this individual story true? And I'm not saying it got thrown out without everything being heard. But the point is, until you're shown all the evidence, it's hard to change your mind.